When multiple processes compete for limited shared resources without strict synchronization, a complex concurrent system can suddenly seize completely. This diagram outlines a classic concurrency model known as the dining philosopher's problem. We are looking at a continuous ring architecture featuring 5 independent processes, labeled P0 through P4. Positioned exactly between them are 5 shared resources, R0 through R4. Every process shares one resource with its left neighbor and one with its right. The core operational constraint is absolute. To execute its critical section, a process must successfully acquire both its left and right resources simultaneously. In circular architectures, applying perfectly symmetrical logic to every node creates a structural dependency. This symmetry means a local decision at one node can have immediate unintended consequences for the entire system. Looking at this configuration, the naive approach seems logical. Instruct each process to grab its left resource and then grab its right resource. Watch the execution if all 5 processes initiate at the exact same moment. Every process successfully requests and locks its left side resource. Now, every resource in the network is held, but no single process has the pair it needs to execute. The system is suspended in a waiting state. The execution advances. Every process attempts to lock its right side resource. The requests fail because the neighbors have already captured them. This specific state is a circular wait. Every process is waiting on a resource held by another process, which is waiting on another, forming an unbreakable loop. This is a system-wide deadlock. Even if timing isn't perfectly simultaneous, sequential locking generates another failure state, starvation. If a process's neighbors are continuously active, that process may be permanently denied the resources it needs to execute. Preventing deadlock requires abandoning blind, sequential locking. We must transition to a system that evaluates the state of the entire network before allowing any process to claim a physical resource. Our first requirement for state-aware synchronization is a global ledger. This integer array tracks the exact status of all 5 processes. 0 means the process is idle or thinking. 1 means it is hungry. 2 means it is actively eating. A centralized state array introduces a vulnerability. If multiple processes attempt to read or write to this ledger at the exact same millisecond, race conditions will corrupt the data. To protect the ledger, we introduce a single mutual exclusion lock, or mutex, initialized to 1.
Finally, an array of individual semaphores, initialized to 0, allows any process to safely block its own execution if necessary resources are unavailable. By combining a global state ledger, a mutex to protect it, and local semaphores for execution control, processes can ask permission based on real-time data instead of blindly seizing hardware. To enter its critical section, a process calls the take forks procedure. The first step, wait mutex, locks the global state array to prevent interference. With the ledger secured, the process updates its index in the state array to hungry. The process then calls a separate test function. This evaluates whether it is safe to proceed, essentially asking the system for permission to upgrade its state to eating. Regardless of the test's outcome, the process immediately executes signal mutex. The global lock is released.
Minimizing the duration this global mutex is held is paramount for performance. The lock exists to protect the split-second evaluation of the data, not the execution of the critical section itself. The safety of the system relies on the conditional logic inside the test function. It requires 3 specific conditions to evaluate as true. First, the current process must be in the hungry state. Second, the process uses modulo arithmetic to identify its left neighbor, ensuring it is not currently eating. Third, it checks its right neighbor with I+1 modulo n, confirming it is also not eating. If all 3 conditions are met, the process upgrades its state to eating. Crucially, it then calls signal on its own individual semaphore. Returning to take forks, the process executes wait of Si on that exact same semaphore. This creates 2 possible paths. If the test succeeded, the earlier signal counteracts this wait, allowing the process to enter its critical section. If the test failed, the process hits this wait and safely blocks its own execution, pausing without holding the global mutex. This conditional signaling mechanism ensures a process only attempts to enter its critical section when both neighbors are verified to be idle, preventing circular wait.
When execution finishes, resources must be released via the put forks procedure. The process reacquires the global mutex and downgrades its state back to thinking. To prevent starvation, it proactively calls the test function on both neighbors. If a neighbor was previously trapped in the hungry state, waiting for resources, this departing test finally evaluates as true. This triggers the neighbor's signal, unblocking their local semaphore and allowing them to execute. System fairness is maintained without a central supervisor. It relies on a decentralized mandate where every exiting process is strictly obligated to wake up waiting neighbors. We can now validate this architecture against our 3 mandatory requirements for solving the concurrency trap: mutual exclusion, deadlock prevention, and starvation prevention. Mutual exclusion is satisfied. The global mutex strictly protects state transitions from data corruption and race conditions. Deadlock prevention is achieved. The strict evaluation of neighbor states eliminates the blind sequential resource grabbing that causes circular wait. Starvation prevention is confirmed. The exit procedure ensures no process is perpetually ignored by its neighbors. Dijkstra's design works because it shifts the fundamental mechanism of the system. We stop trying to forcefully acquire physical hardware and instead intelligently manage data states. The philosophers and forks are abstractions. In professional engineering, the philosophers are system threads or discrete processes. The forks represent shared hardware access, memory blocks, or specific database records.
This exact synchronization pattern is deployed in modern multi-threaded environments to safely schedule and resolve heavily concurrent workloads. It is essential in database locking, where complex transactional writes evaluate the state of adjacent records to avoid gridlocking the entire database hierarchy. This solution illustrates a core engineering principle. In complex architectures, true concurrency is achieved through disciplined, state-aware communication rather than aggressive acquisition.